London is a city that makes careers, but few can withstand the pressure. Bukayo Saka has done it. At just 20 years old, he carries not only the expectations of a top club, but also the hopes of an entire generation. Quiet, disciplined, almost inconspicuous, yet one of the Premier League's most valuable players. But what is the life of a young star really like when the cameras turn off and the stadium atmosphere goes silent? Bukayo Saka's rise began quietly. No spectacular debut, no sudden hype. At the Arsenal Hale End Academy, he learned early on that talent alone isn't enough. Every training session was a test, every minute a proving ground. While others caught attention and then faded, Saka remained calm, learned faster than most, and patiently waited for his moment. That moment didn't come overnight. The 2018 Europa League season was the first hint that something more than just another youth talent was emerging. The decisive breakthrough followed between 2020 and 2021. Saka played left, right, even as a wingback, always wherever Arsenal needed him. Not as a star, but as a solution. In the 2021-22 season, he scored over 10 Premier League goals, becoming one of the club's youngest key players in years. A year later, he improved again. 14 goals, 11 assists, inclusion in the PFA Team of the Year, and for the first time, more than 20 direct goal contributions in a season. By 2024-25, Saka was no longer just part of Mikel Arteta's system, he was its center. According to Transfermarkt, his market value rose to approximately 140 million euros, making him one of the most valuable wingers in the world. But behind these numbers isn't a show, but discipline. Early fame, enormous pressure, high expectations, and yet a striking inner calm. The question is no longer whether Saka has made it. The question is, what's the cost of such a rise when you experience it so young? The sporting breakthrough changed everything. And yet, the real turning point came off the pitch. In the summer of 2023, Arsenal made it clear how important Bukayo Saka is for the club's future. The highest contract Arsenal has ever given a player under 23, around £300,000 per week. Suddenly, it wasn't just about performance, but about responsibility. Year after year, between 15 and 17 million pounds from the club alone, with the prospect of an extension until 2030 and even higher earnings. In parallel, his appeal outside of football grew. Since 2021, Saka has been tied long-term to Nike, a deal that earns him between 5 and 10 million pounds annually, depending on bonuses. Brands like Burberry, EA Sports, and Pepsi followed, increasing his income by another 3 to 5 million pounds per year. In total, his current annual income is about 20 to 22 million pounds. Financial analysts in the UK estimate that this figure could rise to 40 to 50 million pounds in the next 2 to 3 years. By the end of 2025, his net worth is already estimated at 20 to 25 million pounds. But while the numbers explode, Saka's demeanor remains calm. No luxurious self-promotion, no staging for social media. Instead, a striking restraint, as if he understood early on that money brings security but doesn't replace focus. This is where the part of his story begins that distinguishes him from many other young Premier League stars. When wealth and fame come early, where does a young player find stability? And what place does someone who deliberately seeks distance from the noise choose? True stability isn't found in the stadium, but where a player can unwind. For Bukayo Saka, that place is in Radlett, hidden behind a discreet gate, far from the noise of London. In November 2019, shortly after his 18th birthday and his first professional contract, he bought this house for about 2.3 million pounds. Today, its value is between 4 and 5 million pounds. But for Saka, it's not a symbol of success, but a place of grounding. While his career exploded, his daily life consciously remained unchanged. He continues to live here with his parents and his brother. No distance, no isolated star life. For him, family is not a retreat, but an integral part of his daily balance. In a world that is constantly speeding up, this closeness keeps him calm and clear. Even the first impression of the house tells this story. The entrance area is spacious, flooded with light, modern, but never intrusive. Clear forms, warm materials, nothing seems accidental. The living spaces are deliberately kept calm, in soft colors, without excess. A piano, framed jerseys from important games, a study with bookshelves, not as trophies, but as reminders of the journey there. Here, success isn't staged, but processed. Shared meals before training, short conversations, familiar routines. This house doesn't shield Saka from the pressure of professional football, but it helps him organize it. That's exactly why it's more than a mansion. It's his foundation. But what does the part of the house look like that serves not the family, but regeneration, concentration, and physical preparation? And what role does this private space play in his consistency at the highest level? Behind the house's calm facade, an area dedicated entirely to regeneration and focus begins. Each room serves a clear purpose. Nothing feels cluttered. Nothing distracts. The lower levels transform the house into a private retreat, far from public view and pressure. A modern cinema room is used not only for relaxation, but also for game analysis. Here, games are re-watched, mistakes identified, and sequences internalized. Right next to it is the training and recovery area. A fully equipped gym, sauna, and treatment rooms are firmly integrated into daily life. The centerpiece, however, is the 16-meter indoor pool. Soft lighting, a calm atmosphere, glass surfaces overlooking the garden. A place for post-game recovery, physical recuperation, and mental quiet. This isn't about luxury, but about restoration. The upper floors continue this theme. Several bedrooms with private bathrooms offer retreat and peace. The main area features a separate dressing room and a small balcony where quiet evenings are often spent with family. Even higher up, additional rooms open up with views over the treetops. Places for reading, reflection, and a brief pause between two intense match days. The garden also follows the same philosophy. Well-maintained lawns, old trees, simple stone paths. No pomp, no staging, just silence. In a career defined by pace and constant demands, this place becomes a crucial advantage. It allows for distance without isolation. But the modern life of a Premier League star doesn't end at the front door. Mobility is also a part of it, and here too decisions often reveal more than words. Bukayo Saka's character is also reflected in his garage. No large collection, no staging, just two vehicles, two clear choices. The first is a red and black Lamborghini Urus, a powerful SUV with a 4.0-liter V8 engine, 641 horsepower, and acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds. Its market value is approximately 200,000 to 230,000 pounds. Saka uses it occasionally, for example, when he's out with his dog. Power, speed, but always controlled. His daily life is quite different. For that, he chooses a black Range Rover Velar, a quiet, discreet vehicle with 395 horsepower, accelerating to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.5 seconds, and costing around 70,000 to 80,000 pounds. This car takes him to training every day. No fuss, no show. It's the same car he drove home with his brother after being promoted to the first team. A small moment that meant more to him than any luxury. Two cars, two roles. The Urus stands for performance, the Velar for stability. Together they say a lot about Saka's attitude. Efficient, reserved, always ready, but never loud. But even these material decisions fade into the background when you see what he truly dedicates his attention and resources to. Because far from football, houses, and cars, a part of his life begins that rarely makes headlines but unfolds the greatest impact. Beyond football and material success, a side of Bukayo Saka emerges that seeks little attention. Quietly, consistently, and without grand announcements, he is committed to people who lack access to help. Through the Big Shoe organization, he supports medical projects where they are most urgently needed. In 2022, Saka funded 120 life-saving operations for children in Kano, Nigeria, his parents' homeland. These involved brain tumors, hernias, and congenital conditions. Many of the children wore Arsenal jerseys with the number 7, not for marketing reasons, but out of gratitude. A year later, after the devastating earthquake in Turkey, Saka provided 26 fully equipped container homes for more than 100 homeless families. Shortly thereafter, further aid projects followed in Morocco, where 50 mobile shelters offered protection to almost 90 families. By 2024 and 2025, over 255 people, including 89 children, received a safe home. Together with Antonio Rudiger, Saka also supported medical procedures for 100 children in Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Kenya, and Tanzania. Independent estimates suggest that more than 3,000 people's lives have been positively impacted by these initiatives. Additionally, he donated over 100 pairs of football boots to homeless children in the UK and regularly supports charities in London and Nigeria, often anonymously. For Saka, this isn't a project, it's a principle. Help without a stage, impact without applause. But after these endeavors, he always returns to his own rhythm, to a life that consciously remains simple. What does the daily life of a player look like who maintains his balance despite fame and responsibility? And who is Bukayo Saka when there's no game? Away from the big games, Bukayo Saka lives a life that seems surprisingly quiet. Despite fame and responsibility, he spends a lot of time with his parents and brother, who have been with him since the beginning of his career. Daily life follows simple routines: a light breakfast at home, short conversations, then off to training. No stress, no distractions. In his free time, Saka doesn't seek out nightlife. Instead, he walks his dog, runs errands, or spends the evening with his brother watching game highlights. Training remains a priority nonetheless. Even outside the club, he works on strength and speed, often alone, often without an audience. For him, discipline isn't a chore, but a habit. His circle of friends is small and close. This includes teammates from the English national team, like Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice. After intense seasons, he treats himself to short trips to Dubai, Greece, or European coasts. No excesses, just a break. He sits on a yacht, drinks fruit juice, laughs with friends. That's all it takes. Saka seeks quiet, not noise. Biking in the neighborhood, an afternoon coffee, silent moments away from the cameras. It's precisely this simplicity that seems to give him the strength to perform at the highest level, week after week. Success hasn't changed him. It has only given him more opportunities to live consciously. From the pitch of Emirates Stadium to the quiet calm of his London home, Bukayo Saka clearly demonstrates one thing: success hasn't changed him. It has only given him the opportunity to live more consciously, stay focused, and help others. A Premier League star who can play loud but lives quietly. If you enjoyed this portrait, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and stay tuned for more stories about the lives of the biggest stars, away from the spotlight.